This question is for both of you. So, in thinking about the concept of a list, not just applied romantically, but in life, we all sort of set up lists and goals for achievements for us. And sometimes thinking outside of that box can help us get there. With being that a career in film, in theater, in the arts, what are some principles that you both may have held fastly or strongly to early in your career that you have since, for whatever reason, now think at or look at differently because of experience or someone opening you up to another vantage point?
That's a great question, Joe. Chape?
I'm racking my brains.
We're just like, we are moralless. We are compassless actors. It's a really good question to think about. What are the convictions that have guided you through? I mean, while you're thinking, Chape, I think for me, they haven't always been clear. I didn't necessarily always have language for them, if that makes sense. I knew when I was in the right places and doing the right work that felt not, just like work that you were doing because it was enjoyable, but work that was truly meant for you, work that somehow you left changed somehow, bettered somehow. And I think over time, the language that has come to me about what that feeling is, and the staunch way that I've sort of gone about recreating that feeling is I suppose just always being of service somehow. That's when I feel right with me. When I'm doing work that is not only creative, but somehow needle moving or somehow serving a greater purpose than just creative expression. It can't always be like that, but whenever I've come off compass or kind of lost myself a bit, I find I reshuffle the cards and I come back to that being of service, and it guides me back to the work that I'm meant to be doing, and that makes me feel anchored. So that probably, and I started acting very, very young. So I would sometimes be saying, this doesn't feel right in my gut, and I don't know why, because everyone's saying, hey, you should be so lucky for this opportunity, but oftentimes they were roles that you had to like self-abandon in order to inhabit, or roles that you knew weren't going to create more space in the world for movement and for good. So I'm very grateful to have remained acting and found more and more ways to describe exactly why and how and what that guiding light is for me.
I think that on a list I may have created for myself at the beginning of my career, there would have been a line or a point of it about control. That if I didn't get a job, or if I didn't do this, that, or the other, then it was my fault. I was deficient in some way, which in hindsight is so ridiculous, And it's the same thing with Malcolm. He wants to control this thing that is not in his control or shouldn't be. So yeah, I used to beat myself up a lot. Sorry, thinking that I wasn't good enough, or that I hadn't done something, or my imagination wasn't broad enough, or I'd done something technically wrong, or I'd annoyed somebody. Like, I had a big complex about that. And I found that desire for control, or that assumption of control, made me feel even more powerless than I already was. So I just sort of, like, over the course of my career, I've relinquished that. And it's about knowing that I've done my best. That is what I can control, And then the rest of it is, once again, back to the whole themes of spontaneity and organic experiences. But yeah, that's definitely something that I've pushed off me like, you know?
Thank you both so much for your thoughtful answers.